This is Books and Tickets NI. We're here at Clash of Clans. Well, Clash of Clans just finished and delighted to be joined with Ian Gaughran once again. I think it's been a while maybe since we've done our last one live. Someone actually asked in the interviews last week when you get Ian Gaughran again, so I think you're building a fan base here in Belfast. But I guess for obviously you stable-wise tonight, obviously a mixed bag. Obviously Dominic Donegan obviously went down to a shock defeat, and Conor Kerr obviously delighted his home fans. I guess probably a good one to start with. Conor, I think it's your first time seeing him live in person as well. At Craig, you weren't in Wales, so obviously what did you make of Conor's performance tonight?
Yeah, really good, really polished and really exciting. He was probably extremely excited at the fact that he was at home and he was very eager to please. A couple of little things to learn from it, maybe to keep the chin down, but like you could see there how talented he is and how like what he has to offer, especially in the kind of third and the fourth, when he just first and second round he was just busy. He was like, okay, you need to maybe chill out a little bit. And when he kind of relaxed and kind of found his range in the third and fourth, you could see when he was on the move and he was kind of starting to move on the back foot, his head movement was really good. And like Luke actually kept on coming forward, but kind of was picking him off. So pretty much an ideal home debut. And we'll move on. We'll step him up now in opponent and in rings or in rounds. So we'll go to 6 now, and we'll probably get someone who fights back a little bit more and kind of comes at him, as opposed to Conor having to do all the work himself. Because from the excitement point of view and everything with it, and because he had brought a good crowd, you could hear the noise there. Like he was giddy about it. Like, but overall, absolutely perfect from a home debut performance.
I think he was saying up until last week he thought this was a 6-rounder tonight, and obviously in his interview, which will go out before yours, he obviously says he wants 6 rounds next. He also said he would love to, I guess everybody ideally wants to fight in Belfast as much as possible. I'm sure you'll do everything you can with the relationship you're building with Conor Boxing. Obviously Mark Dunlop here as well. You obviously try and get as many fights at home as possible, because it's easier for him fight-wise without having to rely on sponsors. He can sell his tickets and make it up that way.
Yeah, and he only lives, I think he only lives like a couple hundred yards from here in Girdwood, and this is a fantastic venue. Like, in fairness to Mark, puts on a fantastic show, and Conor was very eager to please, and like we've got a roadmap planned out for him for 2024. It was supposed to be 6 rounds, and then the TV stuff and all that, like, it was quite a strict schedule, and then as we know, the one fight fell off, but sure, you couldn't change it at that stage. We were eager to get him up to 6 because he's got so much amateur experience, and he was an elite amateur pretty much. But the 4 was good, because whereas everybody wanted to see a finish and all that like early on, but for someone who had been out of the ring for so long before his debut in Wales, he got to rust off, and then he got to work on a lot of stuff in the meantime, and you can see it out there that they have been working, especially in the third and fourth round when he started to move off, and it was just like, okay, drop the hands, and really impressed.
Obviously with Dominic Donegan, obviously a rematch with obviously CJ Wood obviously fought him at the start of last year. Maybe this year. So obviously it was his second sort of rematch in a row, which is sort of rare sometimes, particularly with Irish boxers. But I guess it's sort of one of them. What he put it down to, a bad night at the office. Obviously back to Girdwood, where obviously he had a fight in memory of obviously Harrison last year, but just didn't seem to be at the races at all tonight. I think he focused so much in 10th Pro win, probably, rather than going through the process to get to the outcome. But what sort of, I guess people's going to have opinions and everything else, and I guess opinions are like arseholes, everybody has one, but what do you do to Dom next? Is it sort of you have to sit down and have a conversation and see what he wants to do next?
Yeah, we'll sit down and have a chat over the next couple of days. Look, leave him be for tonight and tomorrow night and whatever. Let him just process. This wasn't part of the plan. Obviously, this wasn't part of the plan. He beat CJ comprehensively already, and everything was going fine for the guts of 2 rounds. And I think he got caught a little bit, and whatever happened, CJ kind of sensed blood, and CJ just came at him. And you can see that's the thing with these journeymen. They're very good boxers, and he came at him, and I was just kind of looking at it going, okay, everything's fine. And at the end of the fight, I was thinking, I don't know, we probably haven't won this fight. This is probably a draw. The scorecards were way off. 59-56 in favour of CJ was just
I think it was 4 rounds to 1 with a round draw.
Yeah, with a round draw. That was just terrible. But regardless, it's a bitter pill to swallow, and it's terrible for Dom because he puts so much into it and he's such a genuine fella. But look, he's always undeterred, and he really has like a mentality, a really strong mentality. So we'll see what the crack is. We'll see what the story is. Like up until last month, he was due to fight Graham for a Celtic title. So that doesn't just end. But this is a big blow. He probably goes back towards the back of the queue, and he probably needs to reevaluate. But look, we talk about it. We don't make rash decisions off the back of a defeat and emotions and all that kind of stuff. So it's shit, and it wasn't part of the plan. But look, no one died, no one's hurt. It's a loss. The problem is with boxing is it's not like a Premier League season. You 38 games, you lose a match, you play another team the week after. He's hurting. Of course, he's hurting. But we'll talk.
He's a very proud man, obviously, and I know Dom will. People obviously, and I know I've been receiving messages from people saying what happens next. Dom will decide in his own way. I've given my advice in the past, and he obviously hasn't been happy with it. So whatever he decides to do, that's him. He's his own man. He'll make his own decisions. You've obviously just touched on Graham there. Obviously, Graham's back in action in 2 weeks' time. You've a very, very busy stable, and obviously, just seems to be that everybody's prepared now for Christmas. Graham obviously interviewed him last night. Fight of his life. Obviously, it's the biggest fight of his life. But in technical Graham fashion, Getting's getting it.
Yeah, he's getting it, I think is what he said. It's a fantastic fight. Like you said, it's the biggest fight of his career. He's had Celtic title fights. He's won Celtic title fights. He's defended for his belt. He's been beaten by Fergus. And what he really wanted was to get a hold of the Irish title, to get ranked in Europe. And he ideally would have liked to have the Fergus fight back. That doesn't look like it's going to happen, certainly in the immediate future. But what we have now against Kieran Getting is a really winnable opportunity for a ranking title to go into the top 15 in Europe. And it opens the doors for Graham for a big fight perspective. What's he, 36? He knows.
I think he's 46, but he's only 36.
He's been a WWE fan for the last 40 years or something. But look, he's coming towards certainly the twilight of his career, and he wants big fights, and he's just always at me. I don't want to fight a journeyman. I don't want to do that. Get me big fights. So this is what we've done. He's fighting in 2 weeks' time on a big card in Wales. He's the away corner, but he's fighting a fella who's coming up massively in weight, and it's probably as good of an opportunity as it can be for Graham to win a proper belt. And we're very excited. Graham has, in the build-up to the Dom fight that was supposed to happen on September 16th in the RDS that ended up getting called off, he was sparring out of his skin, his camp was out of his skin. He took a week or two off, he went away with his family, and he's been straight back into it. He's training twice, 3 times a day, and this really is the best Graham McCormack we've ever seen. So
we're hoping. So obviously, when we always come falling short, and obviously in Waterford, when obviously he didn't get the win against Craig McCarthy, he's actually effectively winning this obviously fight in 2 weeks' time. It actually repairs any damage that's been done this year. He's obviously, with the ranking and stuff that's going to do, that's going to boost him massively. So it can reinvigorate Graham, and obviously it's probably the last thing you want at this stage. We're in his twilight years, and I guess we want to give him these glory nights, but obviously at the same time, that doesn't say he has to fight for 5 years. That it doesn't make him think he's a 30-year-old again.
Oh, he's not going to go on until he's 40. He's got 12 months left. And if that's this fight and one or two others, whether one of them becomes an Irish title or some sort of European shot on a big show where he can, like he said to you last night, he doesn't duck fights. He wants to have a legacy as a fella who, like them lads down there, between Graham and Jamie and all the boys down there, they don't shirk anything. It's like, let's have a go. This is what we're in the game for. Big fights, create memories for our families and for our friends, and to be role models for the next couple that are coming up. So what he's doing is, as a leader of that team down there in Treaty Boxing, like he has set that for Jamie. Jamie has now carried it on. Graham has picked the mantle back up again. And this is where we are. And it's a huge opportunity, and let's hope it's a huge win.
For you, obviously, I guess when you get into the boxing management, you probably never have thought you're going to have 2 back-to-back cards. Obviously, Jamie Morrissey fighting Emma Brennan and Katie Taylor's undercard in the 3 Arena. And then straight after, the week after, obviously, you've Rudden Farrell, obviously a new signing to the stable this sort of year, but he's obviously fighting the Michael Collins undercard and another Eddie Hearn show. So I think for 2 weeks, probably you and Eddie Hearn's going to be best mates in Dublin and Belfast.
Do you know what? And it's kind of, we're into dream stuff territory. Like we've been in the small hall kind of mold for the last while, and it's been great because we've been building up. And Graham has appeared on the Conlon boxing shows, on the Mick undercards in last December and that kind of stuff. And we've built a great relationship because you have to start somewhere. The likes of Mark, you know, provided such a platform for me as a manager and for our fighters to be able to build this through. And here we are now on the global scale. Jamie's fighting Emma Brennan in a massively winnable fight. Like, we are huge.
I know that obviously I know Emma Brennan's always been very vocal and Jamie's been sort of happy and relaxed. Is it pretty much a face as obviously Emma Brennan is a favourite because of amateur pedigree and everything else? Or obviously we know what Jamie's like. Jamie obviously, he's like Graham, and never turned down a fight. He's obviously very competitive. Obviously Muay Thai, crossed over into boxing. Was it 3 domestic fights? You know, the Burke, and obviously 2 with Cronin. This is his 4th domestic fight in 7 fights. So
drop Emma Gaughran into the mixes.
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously with the be Irish with that, but obviously put Jamie Morrissey on a big stage in 3 Arena, and he'll thrive on it.
Absolutely, and he's another one who's bulletproof. You know, as soon as this was a possibility, and everybody knows how much the back and forth went, and it was all over social media, and it was like we spoke. I spoke with the lads. It was kind of like, listen, make us an offer and something can happen. But it needed to be worth it, and now it's worth it. And you know, everybody knows how much Jamie rises to the occasion. And even when Jamie's down, or when it looks like Jamie's down, Jamie still pulls things out of the bag. So Emma Brennan's going to need to be the best Emma Brennan. Jamie's going to need to be the best Jamie Morrissey. But we're extremely confident that Jamie's going to produce the goods. Like, battle hardened. He's gone through 2 absolute wars with Kevin Cronin, you know. And I think Graham said it to you last night. Like, Kevin Cronin's a strong boy. Try keep him off for 10 rounds. Jamie has that experience. Emmett's had the 1 pro fight. Fair enough, he's got serious amateur background. He's been to an Olympics and all that. But, you know, once we get through this opens humongous doors for Jamie and for us as a stable. So absolutely massively looking forward to it. And then, as you say, a week later, Rudy's going to fight Jared Hughes. Same applies. Global platform. Show what you can do. Prove yourself. You know, really good. 6 foot tall super bantamweight. You know,
is that what he is? Is he 6 foot tall?
5'11" and a half, I think. Like, I stand beside him and Jesus Christ, how are you weighing in at 122 pounds? You know, so, and had very good relationship with Ger, very good relationship with Paddy, who's Ger's manager, and it's not going to be, like, I know the lads have had beef in the past and all. We'll sell the fight fantastically well, and at the end of it we'll probably have a drink afterwards and say, listen lads, if there's a round in it, we'll do it again for the Irish title.
What's the crack with the fight? Obviously, I know at this stage it still hasn't been officially announced. I've sort of been given the okay to sort of promote it and publish and everything else. Is it going to be 6 rounds? Is it going to be 8 rounds? Is it going to be the BUI Celtic title on the line? Is there still some things to be boxed off on that front?
We have to have a conversation about the 6 and the 8 and all that, but there's absolutely no reason why the 2 lads who are the only 2 super bantamweights in Ireland who have, Rudy's already fought for a Celtic title, Jared has done his 6 rounds, he's gone through, they're both eligible. Why on earth would we not do it for 8?
I think it might be maybe down to TV schedule, and I think there's only going to be 8 fights, and obviously Belfast and pretty much probably Dublin as well. So maybe it's TV scheduling. As we've seen on the Frank Warren show,
they could drop somebody else off too.
Conor Quinn obviously lost out in a title fight in Belfast in the last card because of TV. You know, they cut the rounds down. They don't see boxing, unfortunately, the way we do sometimes, these TV producers. But I guess obviously that's probably the conversation you have with Jamie and Paddy and everybody else.
Jamie is quite keen for it to be 8 rounds, and I think Jared's team are quite keen. We're definitely quite keen. Like, I spoke to Paddy and Jared this evening. Look, it's all systems go. Let's make it, because there's nobody else for them to fight against. You know, Conor Kerr was very impressive tonight. He'll come down to super bantamweight, but he's only 2-0 at the moment. The boys can fight for the title. If it's close, they can fight for the Irish title after, and we'll see what happens after that. But like, it's going to be a fantastic fight. It's going to be a fantastic night. We've got two in 2 weeks. You know, we've got the stables thriving. We've got Rudy and Conor down super bantamweight. We've got, as we go through, Dave, Jamie, Graham. You know, it's really exciting.
And you're obviously going to have a new signing soon, we're not sort of going to spoil anything sort of too soon. Obviously, you'd be glad to get a break. Obviously, 3rd of December onwards, obviously you have a wife and kids at home, and I think you're probably like me at stages. You're going, when I go home, is the lock's going to be changed? So you'd be glad to get a couple of weeks off before, I'm sure, probably an even bigger year in 2024.
Yeah, really looking forward to it, because as I've always done, it's build relationships with fighters and build relationships with trainers. You know, I'm sitting here with the likes of Dan Anderson this evening. You know, we're friends, and it's always been the case. It's not clients. I don't sign people just to fucking win fights and move on. It's not about the money. It's about building relationships and about furthering careers. You know, and I think that's what we're doing at the moment. So looking forward to 2024. let's get through 2023 before we get there.
But look, obviously, I'll thank you very much for your time. Obviously, as always, I obviously have to go and shoot off and get the victorious Conor Quinn here now. But yes, I'm sure we'll probably, no doubt, bump into you quite a lot over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and listen, again, thanks a million for everything you do. And ask Conor why he puked all over my back legs.
Not a bother. Cheers, Ian. Take care.